I mean, Justin is the sky is the limit. You know, maybe even what's above the sky? The stratosphere. Yeah, the stratosphere is the limit.
That is Greg Roman, the Chargers offensive coordinator, talking about how good Justin Herbert is and has been throughout the offseason so far. But he is not the only one that has given a lot of praise to Justin Herbert and how good that he has looked recently. We have heard the same thing from Jim Harbaugh, Andy Biscoff, Sanjay Lal, Mark Trestman even, and then the players in their interviews as well. Now, this should not surprise anybody, specifically Chargers fans, because we have seen how good he has been these past few years. But the question with this offense is how much the Chargers will actually utilize the talents of Justin Herbert. Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, they play old school football, right? They want to establish the run and they don't believe in the forward pass. But that is what they want you to believe. And yes, they will be running the ball a lot. They're going to be a physical offense. That's what they want to do. That's their whole philosophy. But they have constantly reiterated that they understand the value and the talent that they have in Justin Herbert. And Jim Harbaugh has said on multiple different occasions that he sees coaching Justin Herbert as a big responsibility to try and get the most out of him.
You know, Justin Herbert walks up on you, like, okay, all right, this is awesome.
Even the wide receivers coach, Sanjay Lal, he has placed an emphasis on coaching this offense and those wide receivers, catering towards the talents of Justin Herbert, because he said he coaches the wide receivers based on what the quarterback wants and how the quarterback sees the offense.
It's an open dialogue, and I coach through the QB's eyes, because if he doesn't like it, it's not going to work. So there's a big give and take right there. I'll say, this is how I'm having them run this route. Do you like it? How did Justin see it? We watch film together. So it's very cohesive in that regard.
So this might sound like the Chargers are creating this whole offense around Justin Herbert, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, but I don't think that's entirely correct. I think they are building this offense around what Justin Herbert likes to run, along with what they want to run in order to maximize the other talent on this team. Guys like Quentin Johnston, who, yes, you can utilize him. Ladd McConkey, who's looking really good so far. Josh Palmer, who has been pretty good these past few years, but just needs to get that next level. Greg Roman said that it is nice to have a quarterback the caliber of Justin Herbert, but the other guys on offense, they need to do their job too.
Really at every position, and that's what it takes on offense. Offense, you need guys blocking. You need guys getting open, catching the ball, running the ball. It's all got to come together. So it's great to have Justin Herbert, but the rest of the offense, we need to keep improving there as well.
And that is great to hear as well, because even though everything on offense, it's basically going to kind of revolve around Justin Herbert, it's a good thing, but he's not going to be the entirety of this offense. That would be a bad thing. And that was one of the problems that the Chargers have had recently, is that Justin Herbert was like the only source of production for this offense, especially when Keenan Allen was out. And it made the team extremely one-dimensional because they couldn't run the ball, and teams knew they had to pass, and they would be able to just rush the passer without any sort of threat of the Chargers being able to counter with a run game. And it basically made this offense really stagnant. And when Greg Roman talks about how he wants his offense to look this year, he's very aware of the struggles that the Chargers have had in the past, as well as how other teams might view the Chargers this season.
There's a sweet spot, and we're still figuring out and still learning about how this is all going to come together. But we want to create options for ourselves. We want to be great at running the ball and great at throwing the ball. But I definitely think we want to have some balance in our offense. But we're not going to just run the ball into a brick wall either. Bang our head against a brick wall. Sometimes the illusion of wanting to run the ball a lot is just as powerful as the ability to. So we'll see how it all comes together.
I want everyone to remember that quote. The illusion of running the ball sometimes is just as effective as being able to run the ball. I love that quote because we saw that in action last year. The Chargers, they couldn't run the ball, and they didn't even have any illusion of being able to possibly run the ball. So it allowed teams to pin their ears back and get to the quarterback, which hurt Justin Herbert's ability to pass the ball, and even ended up in him getting injured towards the end of the season. He went on IR. This offense, it's going to be balanced with the ability to run the ball. And throughout this offseason so far, we've already seen a big emphasis on running the ball, which is what has a lot of fans concerned that they're going to be running the ball too much and they're not going to be able to maximize Justin Herbert. But really, that kind of goes hand in hand with them wanting to maximize Justin Herbert, getting those running backs in the backfield, despite what I think about them with the injuries and my worries with that. You guys all know about that, but they are getting those running backs in there, having that backfield by committee approach, and also investing a lot of resources into that offensive line. Joe Alt was the first pick for the Chargers at 5th overall, the best offensive lineman available. And then you move Trey Pipkins into right guard. And Jim Harbaugh, he has been very adamant and very vocal about how much he loves those tackles. He would play with 5 tackles along the offensive line if he could. But listen to what Greg Roman had to say about Trey Pipkins and the way that he is transitioning from that right tackle spot into that right guard spot.
Trey's done an amazing job. He's been a real shining star for us, really real bright spot since we got here, just how he does things. And we really think he's got a lot of potential. And he's really done a nice job in there at guard. It's a transition. Things happen quicker, and a really good football IQ. And he likes to, get medieval too. So we like that.
Okay, so I hope that turns out to be true. I'm going to wait to reserve judgment until we get into training camp and we see some padded practices there with Trey Pipkins at guard. But he's got a high football IQ. I believe that. And also he's able to get medieval in there. I don't know exactly whether Trey Pipkins is like some sort of royal knight or he's got a bloodline to some sort of medieval times in the British Empire. But Greg Roman, he explained exactly what he means by that.
Oh, geez, that means get lower than somebody else and get after them and get physical. So one guy being that way is one thing, but when you get a whole group of guys doing that, playing that way, it gets medieval in there.
That is exactly what we need on this offensive line and what this team has just been missing on offense since even before Phillip Rivers. Honestly, we need a mean and a nasty offensive line that is willing to get medieval in there, which I guess that's going to be the term that we're using, getting medieval in there like some British knights. But it all starts up front, okay? With that offensive line, they need to set the tone, create space for the playmakers and for the freaking quarterback on offense, allow Justin Herbert to do his thing without being asked to do everything. And this offense, it is still going to go through, and it always will go through, Justin Herbert. Because when you have an elite quarterback like Justin Herbert, you always have a chance. But an elite quarterback with the tools around him to be successful, you have the opportunity for some long-term, consistent success. And that is what the Chargers are trying to set up, starting with training camp this year. And if you did not see my video yesterday, here is everything that you need to know about training camp this year.